It is a beautiful 64-degree morning out here on the Glamstead, and I'm showing you a problem. Can you see the problem? Yep, only one water tank. Running dry a couple of times in the last few days, 5 times in the last week and a half or so, because we've got a lot of irrigation to do. So the big project today is putting a second tank in right there and hooking it up to there. But like everything, it's got to wait because there's chores to do, and the chores come first. Okay, chores are all done. Got to see how much water there is to empty out. You probably can't tell, but it looks like there's about half a tank of water, so that'd be 550 gallons. I got to get rid of 250 go in the reserve tank. Friday, I shoveled out around the outlet there just to make sure I knew what I was dealing with in case I'd forgotten how I hooked it up. And everything is like I expected. I was able to do a parts list. Saturday I went to the store and got the materials I needed. So now we're ready to go. Got to get the tank empty. And yep, that's a float switch in there. Now, the first thing I got to do is get the last of the water out of the big tank that I just showed you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 250 gallons into our reserve tank that's here in the utility room right next to the house. So we don't technically run out of water because then we just switch over that valve right there and then we draw it out of the reserve tank and we're fine. But got to go get this started up and get the junk off there first. Well, we're at the point now where we got to prepare the new pad. The new tank's going to go right in there, so I got to level that out a little bit. Not too much. Got to get rid of a old trunk. I could do it the old-fashioned way, just get a shovel and a rake and start working on it. But if you hear in the background, there's an engine running. So I'm not going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to do it the neighborly way. So I've got my new pad all prepped and tamped down and everything, ready for the new tank. So now all I got to do is get the tank from here to there. So I better call in the local crane service. So I'm going to have to come up with a solution because that lines up, but that causes a problem with the fittings and the valve. So you would think, well, turn the tank to line up with this tank, except you've got all this signal conduit and wire over there. It's got to hook into the supply line that goes down to the house there. That's the line that comes out of the wood. So I've got to put my thinking cap on. But there you go. Used my head, parts that I had, a couple parts that I bought. Got it all figured out, laid out. This is what I call roughing it in. Make sure it looks like it worked. Now I got to get to work. Okay, about a half hour ago, I finished up the last of the pump plumbing. Yeah, easy for me to say. And gave it a chance to dry. Went in and had a little bite to eat. This first tank is filled. Now we're going to show you why I filled this tank first. On that tank. Okay, good to go. There's no leaks. Gonna open up this tank now. And hydraulics takes over. Now the water from that tank is now flowing into this tank. Being done, let's do a little recap of what we were trying to accomplish, moving water from the well into this tank and then moving it over to the second tank. So if you look, there's the line that will keep the two tanks equalized to make sure that the same amount of water is in each tank. So the water comes from the well up through this standpipe into this primary tank. That is the conduit that holds the signal wire that tells the well when to turn on and to turn off. So now you take a look at that bottom line. That's a 2-inch line that comes out of the primary tank. You see the valve is open. Comes over and connects to the secondary tank right there, and that valve is open. The valves are so we can control each tank individually. So then, once the water is equalized, it'll take about 3 hours to fill up. I'll turn this valve on and it'll move the water from the dual tanks down to the house. It'll come from that 2-inch line from the primary tank, 2-inch line from the secondary tank, move it into an 1.25-inch line that will go down to the house. And that's about it. That's what keeps it equalized. That's what will give us double the water. We'll have about 2,000 gallons of water now, more than enough to do our irrigation, keep our fruit trees going well, keep our garden growing, even maybe trying to get the grass to grow. And thank you for joining us at our very first video here on ahtrimble.com. Hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to having you come back. Take care.